What's up? This is the Prof. Uh, I want to speak on something that was inspired by the story that TMZ had about the Caucasian woman that came up on stage with Kendrick Lamar and how she came up. I guess Kendrick Lamar had her come up and told her to sing along with the song that he had. And in the midst of the song, the word uh, nigga was said, and the woman going along with the song was repeating the word nigga. Now, Harvey on TMZ said that basically he felt the woman was set up. I'm like, why in the hell would Kendrick Lamar think in his mind, let me find a white person, purposely, intentionally, to come up here to sing my song so they can say the N word so that I can put them on the spot, like to portray them as being like racist or prejudiced or something like that. I mean, you really think that somebody, like an artist like Kendrick Lamar, would just have that rattling around in his head to do that, like, just for kicks or something like that? Like, it sounded like to me, Harvey was just trying to get a woman out. And um, what the reason for this is because, like, um, see, we're not going to get on racism, but there's a lot of situations where prejudice comes into play, like on everyday basis, more so than uh, the spotlight of racism being illuminated pertaining to different subject matters and things we encounter every day, or even things we analyze, movies or things we read or things we overhear or whatever. You know, there's a lot of prejudice that come into play uh, more commonly than what's talked about. Now, I say that to say this: Harvey, the first thing that he thought to say was she was baited into the situation and set up. Now, why do you think that Harvey probably thought like that? He thought like that from his position as being a white man, and with her being a white woman, he tried to, in a sense, put himself in her shoes and how he felt he would look at it, the perspective he would have if that was him, the personal analysis that, as it would pertain to himself, he bestowed that upon the woman in her situation dealing with Kendrick Lamar. And Kendrick Lamar told her to hold her because, of course, anybody that seen what had happened, the crowd was booing and stuff like that. They didn't like that. And Kendrick basically, I wouldn't say so much try to come to her defense, but just, tried to have some understanding that, oh, okay, wait a minute. To me, that his actions kind of portrayed a sense of being like, oh, wait a minute. Uh, I didn't not so much think this through, but he wasn't. I didn't see this happen happening. I wasn't perceiving this in my mind when I told the lady to come up. He was just trying to bring a fan up, and that's it. So he said, hey, yo, he informed the woman like, hey, you just have to admit that one word. You can sing the song, and he was like, hey, you know, talking back to the crowd, can she, you know, continue on, y'all. He wanted to be cool for her. He didn't want her to feel shamed or what, because that's understandable. Because why? Kendrick Lamar don't know the woman personally, know whether she's racist or prejudiced or anything like that. There was no reason for him to jump on some kind of bandwagon of trying to shame the woman just because. You know, in life, we'll you'll see many things, hear many things where you be like, okay, you have to ask yourself, just because of the so-called social norms that exist as far as storylines and things that people just talk about in conversations all the time. certain subject matters that just permeate the landscape of just uh, human consciousness on a regular basis. You don't have to just uh, zone into things and just say, oh, because you guys are reacting like this, let me react like this because of how you guys are reacting, because I'm trying to go along with what the most popular opinion is, because that makes you fake just in that. So, Kendrick Lamar, because he was black, and how because some black people probably felt who were in the audience about what the lady had said or did going along with the song. He didn't have to all of a sudden he had to all of a sudden jump on his soapbox and you know just lambaste the woman uh, with criticism and uh, uh, like authoritative manner of speech, condemning her for uh, saying a racial slur towards black people that he has in his own damn song. You see what I'm saying? It's like you have black people who will feel like it's okay for us to buck dance, coon around and shuck and jive and everything, and call him a nigga, her a nigga, them some niggas, whoever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? As long as there's no visible focus upon that where it's being spread out to the masses. Because it's always been a traditional thing, especially like with the older generations that came from the civil rights era and all that type of stuff. They're always worried and concerned about how blacks are portrayed to white people. More so than how they care about how blacks are portrayed to blacks, you know? And it trips me out like, why is it cool for a black person? In a sense, it's like saying, why is it cool for me to act like the proverbial nigga when I'm around black folks and talk like the proverbial nigga when I'm around black folks? But when I'm around white people, why must I stand up tall, shoulders back, shoulders straight, shoulders back, back straight, and why must I talk articulate, proud, and distinguished? But I'm only supposed to um, portray that image when I'm around white people. But when I'm around black people, I can act as stupid and dumb as ignorant as I want to. That doesn't. I never understood that. There's a lot of other people who have spoke about that, not just me. But growing up, it would trip me out, like how the older people were always like, they would be like that, and they would be like that pertaining to movies or artists or whatever. It's all about how we portray ourselves to the white masses. But if it didn't have anything to do with their inclusion whatsoever, then you can act as foolish as you want to, because that's just how we get down, and that's just our thing, and that's part of our culture, and you got to be a nigger to understand what being a nigger is about, and understand why niggers act the way they act. Now, what the fuck? Wait a minute. It's somebody could say, yo, it's all kind of contradictions in there. You know what I'm saying? And when you're contradicting yourself, people can speak and say, yo, hey, check this out. Wait a minute, hold on. Why you say this is not cool over here, pertaining to this person doing this and this person doing that, or acting like this, or but you can do it, or you can do it in this setting, or you can do it when you're around these people, or whatever. Because that contradiction presents itself. This is the reason why somebody can bring up the question. Then you have people say, no, no, you can't do that. See, you being full of shit. It's a difference, and you know what the difference is, and nah, right now, see, I know what you're trying to do. This is a trick. See, you can't do what we do, and blah blah blah. And if you had any kind of conscious sense, you would understand that. And but what I'm saying is, when the situation of being contradictory presents itself, then people are going to ask questions. They're going to point things out. They're going to say, "Why is this cool over here but not cool over there?" And that's just that's just what's going to happen. You can't just tell a person like, "Well, if I say I don't like milk and I despise milk," and you see me one day somewhere in a restaurant and I'm drinking a big tall glass of milk, you do not have no right to question why am I drinking that milk. Like, see, you gotta think about that for a minute. So, you know, the whole thing about it is, it's like, you know, you have to think sometimes. You don't want people to question uh, or copy uh, certain aspects of you or your culture, but then you want to put it on display, for profit and gain, but you don't want them to do it. But if it was right and there's nothing wrong with it, then why is it okay just for you to do it and nobody else can? It's just a question.